and welcome to Juicy Scoop. Everybody, yes, Chris Franjola is here. He is still my favorite.
No, well,
yes, you are.
We don't have to do that anymore. I'm just another cog in the wheel.
No,
over
you're
here.
not.
I'm happy being that. I don't have to be the two new, fresh. Everyone loves
First of all,
them.
I don't even think that Juicy Scoopers deserve the gift because I had 2 great podcasts with Brandon and Julie. Before that, I had a real juicy one with Amir, who gave all the juice about celebrities. Now I've got your favorite, Chris Franjola.
Uh-huh.
I mean, if this isn't going to get you in the mood to have your kid go on Zoom school, I don't know what is.
That begins like today, right? For a lot of people.
I can't even tell you. I did a Zoom meeting for parents last night about Brandon's freshman year of high school, and my one friend wrote me, she asked, how many times did the principal say, that's a great question, and then not answer it? I mean, I was like, it is terrifying.
Have I ever told you my theory about you could literally have a highest paying job at whatever company you want.
Yes.
Now that everything's done via Zoom.
Yeah.
You could stay at a job for 3 years with just 3 questions. That's a great question. Let's get back. Can we get back to that?
Yeah.
And let's put a pin in it. You say those 3 things, you can continue on with the job for 3 years before anyone realizes you're not doing anything.
I think another one is, let's circle back.
Circle back. That's another one.
And what's the other one about, like, gathering information from somebody other team?
Yeah. Like, you literally don't have to answer any questions for at least 3 years before somebody finally goes, wait a minute, you've never really circled back on that. And they're like, oh, I haven't? Can we put a pin in it? And like, you can, no more pins.
Listen, listen, it's going to be a nightmare. And that's why we have Juicy Scoop, to get you just to think about other things.
Are you fully in a Zoom school now?
It's going to be full Zoom. I mean, just more and more, I'm just like, it's just going to be the 4 of us forever, my family.
Yeah.
These boys are just going to be... Literally, Drake was in my bed watching TV, and Peter comes in and he's like, get out. I'm like, you know what? Basically, this is my second husband now. Like, it's just like, he's your size. It's just like, just going to be us forever. Okay, let's get into some hot topics here. Chris, last time you were here, we did a very juicy audition.
Yes, this is it. It's cast.
This is the show that Chris and I didn't get.
Yeah.
Do you want to hear the sweetest thing about Kelly, the innocence of Kelly?
Yes.
She goes, what do you mean? You didn't get it? I go, no, we didn't get it. She goes, how'd you find out? I go, because the Deadline article came out with the people that did get it.
Yeah.
And she goes, oh, they don't call you?
That's great.
No, they don't call you to tell you that you didn't get it. You just drive around and keep thinking each day that passes, there's still a chance, right? Someone could have gotten corona and they didn't make the decision.
You just assume you don't get it always. Like, if you ever got a call that you did get it, you'd be shocked. You know, I honestly blame, in a way, I know we're going to say Kelly's sweet, and I blame her a little bit for her terrible reading along with us. She gave us nothing.
We are going to share, you guys.
Probably the reason we didn't get it.
We are sharing part of the audition. Kelly goes, I mean, are we allowed to do that? I'm like, oh, fuck yeah, we're allowed to do it. Well, they didn't pick us.
Right.
They should have thought about that before.
Well, anyway, here's the cast.
And so who is it? Who are the 2 people that are playing us, and they're a real life couple?
They are real. They were actually looking for a real life couple.
Right. What it is it's a show that is going to be like a bunch of friends that get together in Zoom meetings at night, all in different stages of the pandemic. So one girl is like a tired nurse, another person, I can't remember the other people, but we read the script. But you and I played a couple that's actually thriving. Our marriage is getting better. We're spending more time together. We needed the little like break in the world. And so I think they were hoping to find real couples, but they were willing to like talk to us because our friend was writing on it.
Yeah.
I think he was really the one that pushed for us to do the audition.
I think they probably went to all the writers. Like, does anyone know a couple? And then a lot of people probably didn't know couples who were both actors or improvisational. So they came to us.
But we thought, we're like, where's Jason Biggs and what's her name?
Yeah, Jenny Mullen and Jason Biggs.
But I think they were too big of a name. So they got another couple, which I'm sure are great. So who is the couple then?
I don't know.
These 2?
I think it's these 2.
Keith Powell and Jill Knox.
I think it's them.
Oh, okay. Keith Powell and Jill Knox. Well, congrats. I'm glad that you guys are able to do this.
And this is Preacher Lawson. He's a comedian.
I know Preacher.
Yeah.
He was... Oh, it's called... What's it called?
Canceled in 6 episodes.
No, it's called Connecting.
Yeah. It's picked up for 8 episodes. It's like, this is one of those things where I say, let's just take a break until all this is over, and then we can start TV production again, with award shows.
Exactly.
And even America's Got Talent. Do we need to do it in front of no audience and all of that?
I know.
I don't know if you watched this Democratic convention last night. It was the worst thing I've ever seen in my life. They were doing music videos, and it was making no sense.
I mean, it's just... Yeah, it's hard to. And then I was just listening to Ryan Seacrest, and he's like, "So we are excited for this music concert. It's Miley to the CW, and I'm excited. I'm hosting, and I'm virtually hosting, and I'm excited." I'm like, "No, you're not. No, you are not excited about doing a virtual hosting of Hey guys, and now we've got Miley Cyrus. You're not.
No." and we've done them, we've seen it. Remember when this first began? They did a virtual concert to raise money, whatever.
Remember when it was cute and people bought lentil beans?
Oh yeah,
and Spam.
It was so cute. We were all doing happy hours. We're all going to meet at 5:00 via Zoom and do a happy hour. Those days are gone. We're like, oh fuck all of this.
Oh my god, now everyone just hates each other. I just talked to a bunch of friends, and they're like, They don't even reach out to their larger friend groups anymore.
No.
They're just down to the bare minimum. They're like, we haven't talked in 6 months. No one's reaching out. No one cares. I think a lot of friendships are dying by the wayside. A lot of divorces, obviously, quarantine divorces, but also just my one friend a couple years ago, I went to go visit her. She organized, I'm not kidding, an entire bus of couples coming to my show. Okay, she had so many friends.
Yeah.
It was so popular. Now she's like, yeah, I'm good. Her birthday's coming up. She's like, we're just meeting with 2 other couples.
I know.
I'm fine. And I'm like, do you remember when you were basically planning a wedding, but it was my show? So who knows? Things change. It's a weird time.
I mean, I was just in Minneapolis, Minnesota at the Mall of America. And 2 years ago when I did that show, there was a whole group of, remember that one guy, Brandon or Brendan or whatever? Braxton. He got 35 people together. This time I walked up there, there's 18 people sparsely situated.
Because it's just, you can't really do it.
I know.
And then if you do it, people yell at you for doing it.
They won't even restaurants won't even take parties of more than 4 people. I don't know if you read that story yesterday, a girl.
Oh, now it's down to 4? Because I thought it was usually 8.
No, I don't think it's 8. I think it depends
now.
on where you are, I guess. But
again, thank God I'm a family of 4, and Mackenzie lives, out in Long Beach. She can't even join us.
No, she can't.
Can't even join. The fact that not only was she a stepdaughter and the only girl, now she can't even join the family.
She's sitting at another table.
She has to sit at a table with her boyfriend. We'll see you across the restaurant,
perfect.
Mackenzie.
Oh my God, it's a nightmare. Anyway, here we are.
Okay, tell me about this story because I did not know about this.
Yeah, so I'll give it to you. This is the latest in the Chris D'Elia craziness.
To remind people, Chris D'Elia is a very popular comedian and actor. He actually played a comedic pedophile in the hit series You. And then all this LA Times article came out about how a lot of girls had receipts of phone and text message conversations with Chris D'Elia while they were underage.
Yes. Some of them, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, right.
Yes. And so then he was, everything basically he was canceled.
But before all that went down, his career was blowing up. He was playing theaters, sold out theaters. He had a special out, yeah. And he was just getting bigger and bigger and getting into movies. So he just shot this movie called Zack Snyder's Army of the Dead, which is a huge movie. It's a huge zombie movie that, people into that world are just so excited about it. And so it's one of those deals where they shot the movie, it's done, it's ready to come out, and because of all this, they are reshooting and cutting him out and replacing him with Tig Notaro, who you and I both know.
Who's a female comedian.
Right, yeah. So that's the latest.
And
Tig
you reminded me that they did this in the movie about the Getty,
John Paul Getty.
All the Money in the World.
Yes.
And they replaced Kevin Spacey.
Yeah.
Because right when that movie was going to come out, which was an Oscar contender,
right,
and a great movie too, by the way, is they replaced him with who?
Christopher Plummer.
Right.
Yeah. Which honestly, I watched that. It is a great movie, and Christopher Plummer seems so much better than Kevin Spacey
as
an
older, rich asshole. Yeah.
And honestly, I don't know. This Chris D'Elia thing is a little. I mean, he's getting a lot. I mean, I feel kind of bad for the guy. I don't really know him at all. And I don't want to say it. I feel bad for everybody involved in it, even the girls who had to be, what's the term they use? when they're like talking to young girls, they use a
Chatting?
term.
What?
No, they use a term like
Grooming.
Grooming.
Yes.
Yeah, grooming. Yeah, that's what he said. He was grooming girls. But I just, why didn't they? I blame Hollywood for this. Hollywood they cast Chris D'Elia.
I feel like dog groomers are kind of pissed that now grooming has ruined their name.
Yes, they're like, wait
There's
a
like
minute.
vans everywhere, dog
Right.
groomer, and you're
Yeah.
like, ooh,
Yeah, sorry.
get your hands off my
that.
dog. Okay, sorry, go on.
But
Yeah.
anyway, I just feel like everyone, D'Elia, it's no surprise. Everyone knew D'Elia was like a womanizing comedian and everything. But then Hollywood loved him, and they cast him in 1,000 things. Like you could have cast Tig Notaro first, but you didn't.
You didn't.
So now Hollywood, they love to
But then now
overcorrect.
now they have to pay the price
I
because this
know.
is going to be very expensive and very tedious
Right.
and everything else. But I think that it's a group of people. It's never one, and they must have decided this is the only way to save this movie. If we go forward, it's only going to get bad press. The way the world is, you don't know if there'd be protests about that.
Right, I know.
And they're just like, we just want people to watch some fucking zombie movie. And
Yeah.
there's one funny character. Who else can be funny that can
Yeah.
replace Chris? So we found, and then they thought, let's not replace him with another guy because between doing that and this, there might be another LA Times article about that funny guy.
Yeah,
So if what if they had replaced him with Brian Callen?
Well, they
and then
could very
before
well
they knew,
have.
what if they replace it with somebody else? And then that, at least
Yeah.
at this point, every actor is going to be like running for vice president, where they're going to have to do full background check and be like, Tig, has Tig ever touched someone, done a bad tweet? Like, how far did they go in her world?
Now, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Do you think, I truly believe that nobody can, but I think of all the people I know, you might be the one who can. Do you think you could survive a vetting? Like, say you were going to be the first lady or vice president. Could you survive, think back in your life.
Yes.
Could you survive a full, through your tweets, through your Instagrams, could you survive a vetting?
Well, if you asked me this yesterday, I would have said yes.
Okay.
But now I have to say no. I think when I was talking about Juicy Scoop history with Brandy and Julie, sorry to bring up their names, is I was like talking about the Janet Jackson ripping the tit.
Yes.
And I said she had a little sticky on her boob that then was ripped too.
Mm-hmm.
And I think she was doing that, Nicki Minaj, and I guess I meant to say Lil' Kim, when Diana Ross flipped her
Yes.
tit and she had the purple outfit on.
That was I think it was
an
MTV
award show.
Video Music
So
Awards.
that was not in my prep work. That popped into my head as I was talking about it. And this girl feels that, that's an abomination to America, that I don't know that
Right.
clearly I've exercised my white privilege by making that mistake.
So you haven't survived a vetting.
No, I haven't.
Yeah.
And so
There you go.
if I'm running for VP, I'm going to have to face in a debate
Right.
that on Tuesday, whatever today is, what is today? August 18th, 2020, I put out a podcast.
Yeah.
And I made the mistake between Lil' Kim and Nicki Minaj, which one wore just a full tit out and a pasty.
Yeah.
And I mixed up the two names. And if you want to analyze that as, someone that's not ready to run this country, then maybe I'm not.
That's a good apology.
But I'm not running the country. I'm doing Juicy Scoop podcast, okay?
But
So-
you
but
faced it. I think that's the way you got to do it.
I said, I'm sorry. I said, you're right. I see it in my head. I remember Diana Ross flipping her tit.
I do too.
I was like friends with I was doing a show called Lyricist Lounge. My co-host was Tracy Ellis Ross. We talked about that time that her mom did that.
I could see the next comment coming. What does you working with Tracy Ellis
Doesn't.
Ross
I just say
have to do with Diana Ross flicking the
doesn't.
tit?
I just remember we talked about it and thought it was funny. Like, I remember when it happened. I was living on the earth at that time.
I remembered very well. I also remember,
And-
I think it was the same year, post-show, this is MTV
Yes.
Video Music Awards, where Madonna threw something at Courtney Love or something. Remember that? It was like...
No, Courtney Love threw something at Madonna
Yeah,
while
like
she was
a-
doing
like-
an interview
Yeah,
on the
she
red
was
carpet.
talking to Kurt Loder
Yes.
and on top of a bus or some shit. And Courtney Love threw her makeup at Madonna.
Right, exactly. But I do know.
Happy birthday,
I
by the
do
way,
know
Madonna,
Nicki.
62
I do
years
know
old.
Nicki Minaj was one of the first people to have full-blown butt implants, not
Right.
injections. And there's a
Yes.
famous photo of her sitting on her ass, and you can see the large butt implant in her ass. So I do know that about Nicki
Yeah.
Minaj.
And I think Lil Kim now also has some plastic surgery as well.
I think a lot of them do. And a lot, and that's my knowledge is of plastic surgery and Betty
Right.
Broderick. It doesn't see color.
Do you think that the latest girl,
Yes.
the girl who sings the WAP WAP song?
Yes.
Oh no,
Park
not
it
again.
in my garage.
Yeah.
There's
Park
some
that-
hoes. I have to say, I get a little wet when I hear, there's some hoes in this house. That's
There's
the
some
best.
holes in this house. There's some holes in this. That is a great
it's
little riff.
fucking good.
It's like from an old song from the 70s. They
yeah,
took
I
that
like,
beat.
I mean, it's completely dirty.
Oh, it get like that.
But, I
like
mean,
the
it's-
wet ass pussy part's not even the dirtiest part.
Yeah.
It gets to like hit that thing in the back of my throat.
Yes, yes. You know what? I don't have that thing.
You don't?
No,
Oh,
I
forget
think
you
it got
couldn't be in
removed
that
when I had
song.
my tonsils taken out, which
No,
is another
it's
thing
it's
that
two different
people don't do
things.
anymore. They don't?
No, you have it.
I still have it?
Yeah.
Well,
I think
one's.
it's what is it called? A uvula or something? I could be wrong. Yeah.
Well,
something like, I
maybe
might
no
be
one's
wrong.
dick has been big enough to touch it yet.
Peter, hit that thing in the back of my throat.
Oh my God. It's so funny when people are like on TikTok playing it for their parents for the first time and stuff
But have you
to
heard
get their
the-
reactions.
Oh, have you heard the cleaned up version?
Isn't it just a bunch of beeps?
No, it's
Oh.
it's wet and gushy instead of wet ass pussy, which I think sounds
Oh.
even more gross.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's wet and gushy. What?
Well, I found out what simp means.
Oh, did they
Are you
say that?
simping or you're a simp or
Oh, I don't know.
something?
What does that mean?
Brandon told me.
Okay.
Again, I saw it on TikTok and I didn't understand. So I was like,
Number one song in the country, by the way, right now, as of today.
by like a
Yeah.
million times
Yeah.
over.
Mhm.
And congrats. Like, I agree. Like, rappers say the most disgusting things for years, and they just
Right.
fucking, the two of them went for it. Good, go.
Yeah.
Anyway, it means a guy that pays to see like girls' nudes, a guy that would be on OnlyFans.
Oh.
That's a simp.
Oh, like a simple person?
No, I don't know why they call him that, but that's like
Yeah.
the name among the kids, simp.
Simp. Like instead of a pimp, he's a simp.
I don't know why it's called simp.
all
Do you
right.
know this, Kelly?
Just a
Well,
simple-
even Kelly
simple
doesn't know what
person.
Brandon knows.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow. All right. I didn't know that.
Oh, it means
Oh,
a simple
okay,
person,
nailed
but can you see how it's associated with like what's hip now? Simpin'? Anyway, she'll look it up.
means a guy that's overly desperate for women.
A guy that's overly desperate for women. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I could see that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, Ellen DeGeneres, the latest is the 3 main EPs got fired, and we kind of knew this was coming.
Yeah. They're
But-
back to work, by the way. They're
The
back.
show's back to work. So, what are they going to do? Do the show at the studio, but no audience?
That's what I've heard.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what everybody's doing.
I don't even know if she's there yet. I had heard that the staff, some of the staff is there, and she delivered a video message to the staff yesterday.
Yeah.
So she's still, and I mean, the funny thing about all of this is, and they fired those 3 people, and I'm sure
Yeah.
they had, whatever. I've heard different stories about those 3
Well,
people.
can I just say about those 3 people?
Yeah.
The one article I read, it really sounded like it was the guy that was the most problematic because
And a gay man who was going after like grabbing the dicks of,
of
staff
guys.
members.
Yeah. So he was like flirty with the young guys working for him. People witnessed him kissing one of the staff members.
Right.
He grabbed people's junk. He came out of they said he came out of his bathroom, which had a shower with wet hair. I'm like, well, his dick wasn't exposed. I mean, do you have to
I
blow
know.
dry your hair before a meeting?
Yeah, people were upset.
I mean,
Can
Chelsea
just
used to
say-
come in with wet hair. Like,
Yeah.
I think wet hair is okay. Like,
I'm
you
also
are
going to
the.
say another thing about the button that keeps being brought up on people's desks that closes the door behind people. Because it was brought up, of course, Matt
Right,
Lauer.
Matt Lauer. And then they
now-
say, oh, that was part of this old building for a million years.
Right.
And yeah.
And it was brought up again with this guy. They said he
Right.
had this button that closed doors. I'm just going to say this. Any, head of any,
Yeah.
Tom Brunel, who was our executive producer.
Yeah.
They all have one for the reason because once everyone sits down in a meeting, they don't want to have to get up and shut the door, so they just hit that button and the door closes. It's not
Tom didn't have
Yes, he
one.
did. He 100% had one. I remember when he first got that new office at the new
Oh,
studio.
Universal.
He showed me. He was like, "Oh, look at how cool this is." It
God.
basically was that. It wasn't to trap people inside. In some cases, they might use it for that. reason.
I didn't have that many meetings with Tom alone, but I definitely don't remember him ever shutting the door like that. But I believe you, and I want to say he's never done anything creepy to me.
No,
So,
no, Tom's certainly not that type of guy. But
Yeah.
he did have that button as well, and it's just to shut the door without having to get up.
Yeah.
And I think it just looks cool. Like calls
Yeah,
everyone
like
in a meeting
fun.
and goes,
Yeah.
everybody.
Oh, no, I do kind of remember him being
remember
excited
he did
about it.
Yeah, he was excited about it.
Yeah.
We all went to like some meeting and he was all excited, like, watch this.
Yeah,
and he
yeah.
shut the door. Yeah, so anyway, I've heard a lot of stories about this button, and I don't think it's as menacing as people believe it is.
Right.
So, but this Ellen
But I
story,
do also want to say, if when things go back to normal and you become a very successful juicy scooper in your own right, and you are designing your office, I would say decline that.
Yeah, I don't think you probably put them in anymore. It's like a diving board here in Los Angeles. They used to be so much fun, but you can't have them anymore.
Then homeowners insurance wouldn't give you that. Like every sale was like,
Right.
if you want to put it by the side of the house, you can, but it can't be on when we close.
That's so funny.
Okay, so they're going back. She says, I have no clue where the insane no eye contact rule began. She's saying that was never anything that she asked or even realized was going on. What is your thought on that?
Well, I mean, I don't know how much you've gone into this story in past
I have,
episodes.
but keep going.
But have you mentioned who, like, the executive producer of our show, Chelsea Lately, also worked at Ellen for quite some time.
Right.
I won't say her name, but she worked at Ellen for a while. And
what do you recall? Because I don't remember.
Well, every
that.
now and again, she would leak out stories. And one of those stories that I heard from her and a few other people, there's quite a few people who worked on Ellen who worked on Chelsea Lately. I heard there was a lot of no eye contact. And the no eye contact I had heard was when Portia was there, when they came together. I guess Portia came a lot of times as well, and they would come together. And when Portia and her walked the hallways, it was a no eye contact rule. Like, don't look at her.
And don't look at Portia either?
Don't look at either Portia or her. So what I heard is Portia wasn't great either. These are the stories.
Well, the only time I met Portia was I was in a waiting area to go pitch a TV show to someone.
Yeah.
And Portia was there going to pitch something about Malibu. I think it was like a reality show about Malibu people or something, because I saw like her notes and things, and then her people came. And when she first walked in, I was like, wait, is that Portia de Rossi? I'm not sure. Anyway, she gave me a lot of eye contact.
Oh, really?
But now I wasn't working for Ellen. I was also pitching a show. She might have thought I might be in the meeting with her and saying yes or no. I don't, or maybe she recognized me from Chelsea Lately, but didn't know that she recognized me. Like she might have been like, did we go to school together? Like, who are you? Anyway, she was a smiley delight to me. But that was my one incident, but I did not work there. And that's the other thing. And like Kelly was saying that even Twitch is, he's the DJ. And he's came up in the dancing ranks. He became the DJ. He's on Twitter, TikTok all the time doing like cute dances with like his whole family.
He was the guy that she would always talk to in the beginning of the show.
And so he just wrote like, there's only love. Well, he's gone on to like host other shows, like the game shows with her and all this. Right. And of course, I don't think he's lying. I think he probably has a great experience. I said someone like that's working on stage is not going up where the writers are and where the production people are. He's probably going straight to his DJ booth on stage, probably arriving an hour before tape, has a little bite to eat, put a little, goes over it quickly, puts a little powder on his face. They're like, what are your songs? Good, they're cleared. I don't know. So, of course, his experience is going to be completely different, just like any of the friends that, like, said good things about her, when they're at her level. It's a completely different relationship.
Oh, and of course, if you're a celebrity coming in to do the show, you get your ass kissed for 45 minutes and then you leave. You're not there for 9 hours.
But, like, will that show come back, that game show that she does where, like people want to answer a question and then she like presses them and they get spun around like on a roller coaster? Because that's like weirdly mean too.
I think all of it's mean. And I always said that when I first started watching that show, Game of Games or whatever it's called. And even the shows she does, the game she does on her show where she soaks people down and stuff. I'm like, she's getting some weird perverse like thrill out of making people look foolish. I know people like that.
Yeah, and scaring.
We worked with one.
And scaring people, which is like some, I've talked about this a little bit, but like there is a psychology to the fact that people that are into like constantly doing scaring pranks and stuff, that it isn't healthy and it is a little weird.
Right.
That, like when someone is terrified of frogs, you know what? Speaking of frogs, wait, I just remembered something.
By the way, have you had Greg Fitzsimmons on this show? I highly recommend getting him in because he has a lot to say about Ellen. And
I will.
And he has no filter about it whatsoever.
I'll tell you about Greg Fitzsimmons.
He wrote on it for many years.
Okay, I will try to get him on because I was on his podcast when no one had podcasts. And I was pitching my first book, You'll Never Blue Ball in This Town Again. Here it is, everyone. about being a 27-year-old virgin Catholic, and
Mm-hmm.
he's Catholic, but he was raised Catholic, but he's not religious. I think he might be atheist.
Right.
And I thought we had like a really great podcast interview. And he was challenging me on my beliefs in God and stuff. And I thought it was great. And I left. And I guess a lot of people criticized him for that.
For having you on?
A little both, that they weren't happy with the way he addressed my religion.
Oh, really?
Yeah. And that they thought it was like,
Okay.
So then when I had another book come out or something, here's my other book.
Here it is again. This is called My Inappropriate Life.
Yeah, I was reaching out to everybody, and I was like, "Hey," or maybe I think I heard him on the radio, and I was like, "Hey, I'd love to come on again," or "I have a podcast," and he just wrote back, and he's like basically never again. Like he just wanted nothing he did to do with me, and I was
thought
like,
you guys were friendly.
I did too, but then I was like, wow, like, I don't know what people said, but I guess he felt badly about I didn't feel bad. I go, God, I thought it was a great interview. It didn't bother me. You know, I've been on lots of interviews with people. I sat in a writer's room where people would say, how can you send your kids to Catholic school? Don't you know they're going to be molested? Like, daily.
Yeah.
So I, like, put up with the fact that, like, in some ways I was, being pegged for something that was different than the normal Hollywood person. So I was kind of like, oh, whatever. And but I do think he's hilarious, and I loved whenever he came on Chelsea lately, and I loved doing that interview. So now that so much time has passed, maybe he will come on and tell me some Ellen stories.
Oh,
What
and
type
your
of stories
podcast
does he
is
have?
a huge podcast, and he would like to probably use it to promote his podcast. So I think he would definitely come on. He's got good ones. He's got, he says. But I don't know. Greg says this about a lot of people. He wrote it on a lot of shows.
Yeah.
But he says she was an absolute monster. I mean, just the worst person ever to work with. Now, I don't know.
I need to hear like more specifics.
I know.
Though. Like,
So do
what
I.
makes someone
I agree
a
with you.
monster? Is it like, I don't like this bit. I don't think it's funny. I mean, you should be allowed to say that. It's your show.
In Ellen's defense, I'll say this. Like, I feel like we're using the toxic environment a little too much right now. Like, isn't every job toxic? Like,
isn't everybody triggered?
Right, things are toxic. Like, that's why they have happy hour and weekends. Because if your job was fucking great, you wouldn't want to leave it. You know what I mean? Like, toxic is every job is toxic. Like, you think Ellen's toxic? Try hot tar roofing. That's fucking toxic.
Especially this weekend.
Yeah, exactly. I mean,
I agree. I mean,
I'm sure it's a daily show which we worked on. Sometimes when you're working on a show that you got to get done every single day, shit sometimes isn't great. Like, I remember on Chelsea lately, there'd be times where I was angry or somebody was angry, and they would call us into the office. Like Jen Kirkman and I got into a real shouting match one time.
Oh yes, that was juicy.
Yeah, and they were like next day, like sat us down with the NBC people, and like, I'm like, are you kidding me? Like, Jen and I are friends. We had a bad day. Like, that's the end. Both of us had forgotten all about it the next day.
Yeah.
And they had like human resources there. They had people from NBC, counselors to give me anger management. I was like, are you insane? I
can honestly say, I think it was the first time I've ever seen you get mad.
Yeah.
And I mean, it had been like 6 years. But I do remember that day, and we were a little shocked, and it was but it was kind of a heated, like, man, woman, like, kind of a situation that you were sort of defending yourself, and Jen, is very feminist,
right.
And like, it was a little bit like that. I think because the subject matter was that, it wasn't like, you typed the jokes. It wasn't like that. It was like something more specific.
I remember it was something about a girl. I think she was like a Miss Colorado or something.
Yeah.
And she had gone on she went and did a porn movie.
Okay.
And I pitched it as a topic. I said, this would be an interesting topic. And of course, how dare you let a woman do porn if she wants to do porn? And that's what it was. But, whatever. We were literally best friends the next day again.
Yes.
And so it was just one of those things where it just, we've all had them.
Right.
So I'm saying, I don't know. I think toxic work environments, they're all toxic.
Yeah.
If your work environment's great, I don't know. I don't know what you're doing. You're doing something wrong.
But I think, but now this is what is going to be.
Can I give you my Portia story? I have a quick
yes,
Portia
please.
story. She used to come into the restaurant that I waited tables at a few times, and she would sit. And one time she was sitting there with that girl she's in Fast and Furious movies, Michelle Rodriguez.
Yes.
She was with her.
She's a lesbian too. So maybe.
I don't know. Is she lesbian?
I think
she went straight
lesbian
again.
light.
I think she's lesbian light. I think you might be right.
Yeah. Okay.
Anyway, she was sitting with her and like a few other people, and they were getting a little loud. Nothing out of control, but a little loud for like a little quiet restaurant. It was like happy hour or whatever. So they were just having some champagne in it.
Yeah.
And I think the owner of the restaurant was an old Greek guy. He went over to them and he said, I'm sorry, just keep it down. And Portia said, it's okay, we're celebrities. Yeah.
Woo!
She did that. It's okay, we're celebrities.
And so was this like when Portia was on Ally McBeal?
I think so.
Or was she on Ally
Yeah, she was
McBeal?
not with Ellen yet at this time.
She did Ally McBeal, and then she also did the Arrested Development.
Arrested Development,
yes,
yeah. It might have been
which were two
that.
huge shows. So I think now, here's the thing. Now you're Ellen, okay?
Right.
You've saved your job. You get to leave your prison of Montecito.
Yeah.
To go back to your studio in Burbank or wherever it is. And you say you're never going to talk, you probably never will talk to those three, people again that were the execs. You do your Zoom meeting and you say, I don't know how anybody could look me in the eye. By the way, that's a lot of eyes looking at you at Zoom.
Yeah.
Like now, imagine the Zoom people are still like,
Turn away.
before the Zoom meeting starts, and now Ellen's going to join. They're like, hi, Ellen. Like they're like scared. And then she's like, no, you could look me in the eye again. They're like, oh, I haven't seen those blue eyes in so long. But now does she have to now become like old school Chelsea and start taking people to Mexico?
Well, I mean,
like now does she like try to engage more and it feeling inauthentic? Like what do you do in that position when you're her?
I certainly don't think she could end the show by saying be nice to each other anymore. Isn't that what she said? Wasn't that like her sign off? Be kind. Like that's where this is a problem for me because if like in Chelsea's defense,
right?
Chelsea was bitchy,
blunt,
and that's what the way she was.
Yeah.
She didn't end the show with "be kind,"
and it was all about giving everybody shit.
She ended the show with "fuck you," and that's the way she lived her life.
Right.
But saying "be kind" and being awful, that's bullshit. And fuck you for doing that, Right. So that's the only problem I have with it. Like, because she always did, I helped this kid and be kind and all that bullshit. And like, yeah, but if you worked for you were the worst. So
that's why I'm always like so honest about like, in my comedy and talking about this, like Peter and I are not perfect. We're not, because I'm like, I never want to be that person, like on every show that was like, well, my man got me there, and woo, I can't wait for it. I'm like,
Yeah.
And then, because if anything was to happen, then people wouldn't be like, oh, that Heather was so phony.
I think
she had
your
the perfect
greatest
life.
prediction ever. I remember it years ago. I still talk about
God,
it
what
when
was
I watch
it?
an award ceremony.
What?
Sandra Bullock on stage wins for, I forget what it might have been, that one where she took in the football player.
Cheers to Jesse James.
Yes. Right.
Oh, there's a little update to Jesse James because I talked about that whole story on.
He's sitting in the audience. This is Oscars or whatever, or Golden Globes. And she is just gushing over him. The greatest of, and you next day, Chelsea, you're like, I don't know, a little too much gushing, like a little. And I swear it was a week later
that the
when
In
it
Touch
all
came
went
out.
down, that Bombshell McGee and all that.
Well, let me just tell you what's been going on with him because I talked about him this week because that was one of my favorite Juicy Scoop histories. He married Paul Mitchell Hare's daughter, who's also a race car driver in her own right.
Oh, okay. Well, he's not a race car driver.
She is, though. I'm saying she's the heir to like a hair thing, but she puts that hair in a helmet and rides a race car.
Okay, good.
Somebody wrote to me on Juicy Scoop, obsessed, or emailed me and said, I have a friend who lives in Jesse James's neighborhood in Texas. And she just put this on her neighborhood watch whatever Facebook group because a monkey has run inside of her house and he has a boner. And she put on she took a photo of it. They show the monkey and it's like on the stairs.
Yeah.
And this poor woman is like, does someone in the neighborhood own this monkey? Because we're in the middle of Texas.
Yeah.
We're not in Africa.
No, it's not Monkey Town.
Yeah. And so, and Jesse James was like, yes, or someone knew it was Jesse James. It's me.
Oh, it's his monkey.
He owns a monkey who's 4, who in monkey years is 15. So he's super horny.
Super horny, yeah.
He came busting in the door with a boner, just like his owner. And then is there rumors that he also cheated on that Page 6 last year that he also he also cheated on Page 6 last year, stories of him cheating on the race car woman with, according to Kelly, 19 people.
Wow.
So then I guess, I don't know if they stayed together.
That monkey's seen a lot. If only that monkey could talk. Well, That's the
Yeah.
greatest. But wait, the monkey story is the greatest story I've ever heard. I have to look this up now.
Yeah, he's got, and then of course people are like, "What an asshole!" Like, why do celebrities have to have exotic animals? Have we learned like nothing?
Right.
Like, they're not meant to be in your home.
No.
You know, but pretty amazing.
Like all the ones that Michael Jackson had, are they like whatever? Is Bubbles a chimp? I don't know the life expectancy
I think
of
Bubbles
a
has
monkey.
passed,
Oh no!
but I just will never forget.
When Latoya went to see, it's the greatest story ever. Please tell it.
Latoya, when she's just like, Latoya Jackson has just never made it. She was never Janet. She always was like, she started to wear like, like captain's hats.
Yeah.
She then was like, she was living at home at 30, but then did Playboy at 30. And then she like got with some manager and then she said she was like kidnapped and couldn't go out. Finally, she's always trying to get some publicity.
She's always on like a
She had a
reality. She'll
reality
pop
show.
up on a reality show.
She
Yeah.
knew she had her own reality show, Latoya.
Yeah.
Anyway, in like an Entertainment Tonight or something, she wanted to go visit Bubbles. And I think Michael still was alive when she did this.
But he had given up the Bubbles
Given up the
Yeah.
animals. And she went
to some like
whatever
as
sanctuary
an
the thing
animal
was.
sanctuary. Yeah.
And Bubbles was there. And let me just tell you guys how weird it was. Like Michael Jackson, there is a picture of Michael Jackson with Bubbles on his hip and Brooke Shields as his date.
Yeah.
To like,
At the Grammys. Yeah.
and then the next year his date was Webster.
Webster.
Who he
yeah.
also put on his hip.
And Brooke
which is
Shields was
so-
also with them there. I know the whole thing is just. Oh.
I mean,
That was a
and
simpler time.
speaking of Brooke Shields was like in Playboy at like 12.
Yeah. Well, no, I think it was. She was in a movie called.
No. This just came up that like, because
Oh.
now that people are like really talking about pedophilia and
Uh-huh.
all the stuff that's going on. There's one other thing that's just happening right now on
Wait, finish the monkey story.
Okay, wait. Okay, so anyway,
Yeah.
Brooke Shields has led a weird fucking life.
Yeah,
That's all I can
yeah,
say.
yeah.
I know she's like, a 55-year-old mom of teenage girls and, selling a chair or
Has a
something.
furniture line.
But like she had
Ethan
a
Allen.
weird fucking childhood. Look it up. Okay, so then Latoya Jackson comes walking down and she's like, "Oh, I'm really excited to see Bubbles. We always had such a great bond." And Bubbles just like takes its own shit and chucks it at Latoya.
Fuck you, bitch. You were part of that whole. You people kept me down for years.
Talk about that chimp.
Yeah.
If he could have talked.
Oh, you think I want to be at the Grammys? I'm a
Do
monkey.
you imagine if during those trials
Yeah.
of like, is Michael Jackson a pedophile? And then like,
Monkey
like-
comes up.
oh my God.
You got him in a nice little sweater. Remember when they put the Menendez brothers in like nice little sweaters because you would want, so you'd be like, oh, there's no way they could have done that.
No,
Not
they're
in
just
those-
little college
Yeah,
kids.
nice little college.
Wait,
kids.
you know what I forgot to tell you when we were talking about doing the mean pranks? Like if you're scared of a frog, then Ellen's going to have like frogs hop out at you
Yeah.
while you're like just trying to promote your latest movie. I always remember in my broad research,
Yeah.
just like Betty Broderick, that girl criticizing me for it. I'm also an expert on the O.J. Simpson case.
Yes.
And I remember Nicole and O.J., they had reconciled after they were officially divorced, reconciled and went on a trip together. And she was terrified of frogs. And he, ironically, was going to be playing a Navy SEAL in a movie, and they were going to call it Frogmen, because I guess they call Navy SEAls like Frogmen.
right.
But while they were on their trip in Cabo, and I believe Faye Resnick put this in her book, which is, by the way, is the best OJ book ever, the Faye Resnick first book. Okay?
Also in Playboy at one point,
Yes.
I think, Faye Resnick.
He knew that she was terrified of frogs, and there was some frog or whatever in Mexico, and he like threw it at her or teased her with it, and she like ran off and got so scared. And after that, she was like, "You know what, OJ? We're not fucking getting back together." And she broke it off, and
Wow.
he was furious and told people, I told Nicole if we were going to try to get back together that she could never like break up with me again, and now she's humiliated me. She made me fall back in love with her, and now she's dumped me again, and she didn't invite me to Mezzaluna after the thing.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying,
Yeah. it's-
watch what you do like about people being scared of stuff. Okay, Kanye West wants to replace TikTok with Christian Jesus talk. I think he means, because we kind of read it, I think
Yeah.
he's trying to say he'd like to create an alternative, like a PG version of TikTok.
Right.
Which actually I think is not a bad idea.
There probably is one already. I'm
No, there
sure.
really
There's
isn't.
not like a Christian.
No, I don't. I mean, well, it's just like anything else. Like, there was a time, remember when Tipper Gore made it that on the Dirty albums, like Rockstar, like they'd say,
You had to put a warning.
parental advisory, and people were really against that and thought it was like freedom of speech and stuff. I'm kind of like, now you can't imagine. Like, what if like the Cardi B song
Wet-ass
didn't
pussy.
have any kind of like warning?
Yeah.
And it just came on. Like, so I don't think TikTok is like that. I don't know. On my For You page, it's not very dirty, but I guess they know that what the stuff I like. But I don't think that's like a terrible idea
No,
to make it like more kid friendly, just like a PG thing or a
Sure.
Nickelodeon or
Yeah.
whatever.
Yeah. Do they have some sort of warnings or?
They
know how
have
you
no
could put-
warnings.
No, you could just go on there and watch anything. I don't know. I don't really
Yeah.
go on TikTok, but I just
No,
see.
you can watch whatever. I mean, I think they're a little bit. I mean, they follow things like I don't think you can be naked and stuff.
Yeah.
But I mean, they say there's bad words on there and stuff.
Really.
Yeah, like someone yelling at you or whatever. The food god Jonathan,
Yeah.
he got robbed,
I heard that. Yeah.
and I'm like, okay.
Yeah.
It sounds to me like New York City is literally become Gotham City from a Batman movie. Does it not sound like it's become Batman?
Yeah, that's what I'm hearing. Yeah.
Yes.
But there's nobody in it, so except for this Jonathan Chabin or whatever his name is.
Shaban. Well, I
Yeah.
mean, first of all, so he got out of a car or something, and some unsavory people were approaching him, and he's with his mom. Which, by the way, I've met his mom. He's like a really good son to his mom. So he somehow said like, "Mom, go away" or whatever.
Yeah.
The guys came, robbed him, took his jewelry. Now he wears a lot of expensive jewelry. But I also want to say, have you learned nothing from your best friend Kim Kardashian?
Don't.
Like
Oh,
maybe
that's right.
you don't
She
need a
got-
$250 food god necklace and wearing
Yeah.
it every day you're out. I mean, that's
Right.
such a target to just be able to like pull that off your neck or make him take it off. So anyway, he's blaming the mayor for
Oh,
what's
he's playing
happened
Bill
to
de
the city.
Blasio.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't know. It's sad. I mean,
It's crazy times. You can't even be a food god anymore without. getting
oh,
all
but
that
he's
stuff.
doing a line of truffle ketchup.
Oh, good.
Yeah,
See?
yeah.
So there's a silver lining to this story, and we can now put that on our French fries. Just when you thought
I do
there was
like
no hope left in the world.
I do like following the food god with his weird food
Oh,
on Instagram. It is kind of fun.
Another thing
What?
we used to do years ago, he would always like taste things that we've all, like the most amazing apple pie. He used to
Yeah.
say.
Mac and cheese.
Yeah.
If I have to see another person be like, ooh, she's the mac and cheese queen, or the way Meghan Markle is the
Right.
the avocado toast whisperer is what her girlfriends call her.
Avocado toast whisperer. Oh boy.
Jen Aniston, look at those nips. I mean,
Yeah.
best nipples
In the business.
in the business.
Maybe Farrah Fawcett. She was the original.
She
nip
was the
queen.
original nips, where
Yeah.
people were like, nips are not getting enough credit.
No, she was the original one.
So Jen and Brad are doing this thing. Kelly was looking it up, and she was very confused because this is about Fast Times at Ridgemont High. Kelly's dad made her watch it because she likes to wear Vans tennis shoes.
Well, I mean, are we gonna get because it's like one of my all-time favorite movies.
It's my favorite.
but
It's the
yeah.
best movie ever.
Yeah.
It's so funny.
First
it's so
of all,
good.
and it deals with subject matter that deals with abortion.
Yes.
Judge Reinhold picks Jennifer Jason Leigh up from the abortion clinic after she has it. Like it deals with some heavy subjects in the 80s
heavy
were very
stuff.
taboo.
But that part of the movie, so what it is, Jennifer Jason Leigh, it's Fast Times at Richmond High. They're like living in like San Bernardino, and they all work at a mall.
No, it's here.
This-
It's San Fernando Valley. It's the valley.
It's the Valley.
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Well, back then, kids had jobs.
Right.
Okay. And like everyone, the minute you turned 16, you worked at a fast food place or something, and it
the
was
greatest.
nothing. It was like very common. You didn't have 18 hours of homework.
Yeah.
You didn't have to be in 20. You didn't have to have a 4.7.
And no matter how hot you were, like as a girl, like if you could be Phoebe Kate. What was her
Phoebe
name?
Cates was the friend.
You worked at a pizza place if you were 16 years old.
Yeah.
And that's what they did.
And so Jennifer Jason Leigh is still a virgin at 15, and she feels like she's the last virgin on earth. So she invites this guy over, or maybe he was the second guy she boned, but she invites this like weird guy who's a scalper who sells tickets to all the
Yeah,
concerts, which
yeah.
existed back then too. And they have like horrible first time
He
sex.
talks like this. That
Yes,
guy.
yeah.
Yeah. Hey, Ron, everybody. Yeah.
And they have sex, and this is the greatest. This was the sweetest part of the movie. So her brother also works at a shitty place.
Yeah.
And but he's a nice guy, and he has a steady girlfriend, and he just
He
seems
was
so
working at All American Burger. He got fired from that, and then he had to go get a job at a seafood place.
at the pirate place.
Yeah, the pirate place.
And so she finds out she's pregnant. She tells the scalper that, can he please pick her up to take her to get the abortion and help pay for it. And the guy doesn't answer his phone. The mom's like, oh, he's not here. You know, no one had cell phones. You had to call the mother and ask. And so then she's like, says to her brother, can you just take me to the bowling alley? Because my
Great
friends,
scene.
such a good scene, because my friends are going to be there with me, are going to play bowl with me. And he goes, all right, fine. So he drops her off at the bowling alley. And then as he's driving away, he looks and he sees that she stands out there and crosses the street to the clinic. And she does her, her procedure. And they're like, well, we really can't let you leave without someone being here. She's like, oh, my friend is picking me up outside. And they're like, oh, okay, fine. And she walks outside, and he's standing.
The brother.
The brother
Judge
is
Reinhold.
standing in front of his car.
Yeah.
And
And that Stevie Nicks song starts playing.
And he just is like,
It's great.
gives her a hug or something. And she just
Yeah.
goes in the car. And it was just the greatest, like, sweet brother, sister, like, no discussion, like.
It went
It
on.
was so good. And then there's the funny part with
Jeff Spicoli.
Yes,
Sean
with
Penn.
Sean Penn. So I don't know what they're doing in this
They're
remake.
doing Sean Penn was on Howard Stern
Okay,
talking
tell me
about
what it is.
He's producing it or something, and it's going to be like a Zoom. You've seen that one guy did those Zoom where he got the cast of shows back together.
Or
I
where
think
they do like
it's
Princess
something-
Bride and they have to like read it from their house?
I
the
think
script?
it's something along those lines.
So they're
from what I
reading the
gathered.
script.
Yes.
Oh, so the 50-year-olds are reading the scripts of working at the pizza place.
That's what I gathered. Yeah.
I'm so much less excited for it now. Because
I
when I
know.
first saw it, I thought, oh, they're going to be parents. And it's going to be like Fast Times at Ridgemont High, but their kids are from today.
I could be wrong.
Then
I thought
was
it was
like,
just them.
oh, wait a minute. Maybe they all knew each other from the mall and that somehow are reconnecting and
Yeah.
they're just like fun 50-year-old parents.
Right. I could be wrong, but I thought it was one of those things where they're just going to read the script, do like a table read of the script.
So Dancing with the Stars is going to go on.
Can I just give you a quick
Yes,
sidebar
please do.
story that I don't know if anybody knows? Jennifer Jason Leigh, fantastic in Fast Times. We just talked
In
about
everything she's in, by the way.
everything she's in.
Yeah.
She's a great actress. Did you know that? I don't know if you remember years ago. This is a Juicy Scoop history.
Yeah.
Did you know that? Remember when the guy was killed on the set of a John Landis film? He was on. Remember, it was a huge story. A helicopter had fallen on him. John Landis was directing a movie. It was Twilight Zone, the movie.
Twilight Zone, the movie, he was carrying
Holding
two
two
children,
children.
and I think the children died
They did.
too.
They
yes,
did.
it's a whole one of the
and
worst
he
accidents.
wanted the helicopter to be closer to and it fell and killed I believe the kids and Vic Morrow,
Yes,
the actor
yes.
Vic Morrow. Vic Morrow, the actor who was killed, is Jennifer Jason Leigh's father.
Oh.
Isn't that interesting? Not a lot of people know that.
A lot of people.
That's my juicy scoop.
I did not know
inside
that. I knew
story.
that story.
Yeah, that's Vic Morrow is Jennifer Jason Leigh's dad. He was the one killed on
And
that.
you know that movie still came out,
Mhm.
and they didn't even
With the scene in it.
with the scene in it
Yeah.
because the movie was Twilight Zone, the movie. And basically Twilight Zone, the series from the 50s and 60s was so popular. So in the movie in the 80s, they took like 4 of the best episodes kind of
Right.
and modernized them and put them in a movie.
Yeah.
And I can't believe they just didn't like get rid of that section and come up with a
I
new
know.
one.
Yeah. Put Tig Notaro in it. Yeah. That was back in an era. I don't know if sets are. Remember we lost the guy from The Crow who was shot
Accidentally
and then
shot.
another guy. Remember that handsome model, John Eric Hexum? He shot himself, but thought it was a blank gun, and it was like they had a real gun on set, and he was joking around, going, "Hey," and he put it to his head and killed
Yeah.
himself. There was a few of those back in whatever that was.
I think
80s.
that's happened with sex too.
a lot of death.
No, sex.
I know death
Like-
during sex.
No, not death. Like you're supposed to be simulating sex and then like the dick slips in.
Oh, you mean in a movie?
In a movie that's not a porn. Like you're
Oh.
having a sex scene. I mean, during the Me Too stuff, there was a couple stories. God, who was it? I think it was somebody told a story and then they went back in their history and they're trying to figure out like who the person might be because they said, I'm not going to say who it was, but I was this age. I was doing a movie. It was simulated sex, but I was penetrated. I don't know if she was penetrated with a dick or a finger, but like it was not. It was like
really. It
was you could have faked it and it actually happened.
I've heard those type of stories as well.
Yeah. Anyway, all right. Dancing with the Stars. They want to do Dancing with the Stars. Obviously, Corona. And I said, well, yeah, you would have to. Exactly what I thought. So the people cannot be with their spouse. Like, as if there wasn't enough infidelity and fucking and sexual shit that happens between Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah.
Now, the professional dancer cannot go home to their family, cannot see their spouse, cannot anything. And the star cannot either.
This is what I'm saying. Can let's wait till it's all over. Do we need Dancing with the Stars season 29?
So now they just have only each other to literally simulate sex, dancing all day long, working out. They only have each other. Like, I mean, if your marriage wasn't on the rocks before this season of Dancing with the Stars, good luck.
Who's the cast? Who do they? It's amazing to me they could still find people. I always think must have used every star.
I'm still
of
waiting
that
to
level.
be called.
It's season 29. That's crazy. So who is it? Who's the cast? Have they announced it?
I don't know. Can you look up the cast?
Who are these
Kelly?
three?
They haven't announced everyone.
Oh, they have. Caitlin Bristow is
Who's
on
that?
it. She's a former Bachelorette.
Oh, okay. Are these stars? Are they?
Oh,
these
are the dancers.
Oh,
okay. So yeah.
Wow, I'm excited about that.
Okay, I want you to watch this. Okay, so Chris, I want to tell you about this next show. It's called Marrying Millions. It's on Lifetime.
Okay.
It's a second season. It is definitely not as authentic as 90 Days, which, by the way, 90 Days is not as authentic as it used to be. But this feels very, like, not necessarily scripted, but like definitely planned out.
Yeah.
I want you to watch this couple. And you guys, this is Rodney, and what's her name? Desiree. And Rodney is a wine entrepreneur. He's the millionaire. Desiree is his girlfriend who works for a nonprofit in LA. She comes to visit him on the East Coast. They've been dating for like a year, though she hasn't met his family. And just tell me what you think, okay?
Yeah.
To the lake house, to the lake house, to the lake house, yeah. I have a new lake house in the country where I've been spending time at recently, and this is the first time seeing it. So far, the only person who has seen it is my mom.
Yeah, I bet. Yeah. Wait, are they married?
No, they're just dating.
I could have never dreamed in a million years.
They haven't had sex yet.
Yeah, I bet.
Because she's the super Christian.
Yeah.
Can you show me some more? Sure, come on. Come on, let's go. Leave my whole life in LA for a man who, first of all, is not my husband, and second of all, who keeps me a secret from everyone in his life. I mean, my family, my friends, everybody knows about Rodney. All I talk about is Rodney, Rodney, Rodney. So why don't you want to tell anybody about me? My friends and family never met Desiree because my mom's side of the family, everybody is well-to-do.
Does this come out at the end that he's gay or no?
Because Desiree is a little rough around the edges, and they may feel like she's not the one for me because she's not as well off as we are. Is there something that I don't know? Or?
Is there something I don't know?
Yeah, I bet there is.
What are your thoughts about Rodney and why he's never been married and doesn't have children and is agreeing not to have sex with her because she's a Christian?
He comes off a little effeminate, but there's nothing wrong with that. I mean, that's
absolutely not. And
there are
he's
people who are effeminate,
and I'm sure there's a lot of guys that just love pussy that also love turtlenecks.
Right, he does have a turtleneck
with
on
a blazer.
Yeah.
This is what I think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what their true sexuality for each other is. It seems a little fake on both ends. She's like, I don't know how old she is, but she looks older.
Yeah.
So to like say I'm not going to have sex before I'm married, I don't know if she's like a born again or what. I feel like this is a very fake relationship. Now, someone could prove me wrong. Maybe you actually know them, so please tell me. But he has this like wine company, and in one of the scenes, his assistant comes over and with this just billboard of like, so here's the packaging of the new wine. It's some like sparkling sweet wine. I've never heard of it.
Yeah.
And I think he's someone who has money from who knows what, but he's launching a wine company. And this is the perfect opportunity to get it out there, have fun of being on TV. Because then later in the night, she gets mad because he hasn't introduced her to anybody. And she just like takes off, and it's very set up the way it's filmed. And literally, they can't show his face. He's like laughing. Like it just feels so. He's like, "Where are you going?" She's like, "No, this just isn't going to work out." And there's a car waiting for her, and like, so I'm not this show. I'm not feeling that much because I feel like it's very fake. And then there's this other girl who is 23 who's dating a 69-year-old guy.
Okay.
And but I really do think they're a couple. And she like lives on his boat in Miami, and he's a former he's an heir to a jewelry place. But Peter and I were watching it, and we're like, I don't think this guy has that much money.
Yeah.
Like he lives on his boat.
Right. Okay. What is the name of this show?
Marrying Millions.
Okay.
What's your thought?
I mean, he seems like this guy's probably a gay guy who, with his gay friends were like, he probably said they're asking me to be on this show, and his gay friend's like, do it. He's like, should I? Yes. And then now they're probably all laughing about it now.
Yeah. I don't know. It just felt very.
Yeah.
Here is a story that I knew you would remember. Do you remember when the sad story of Brittany Murphy dying mysteriously, and then her husband, a few months later, dies?
Yeah.
And the husband, I mean, it was so weird. Then her mom said that after Brittany's death, she shared a bed with Simon. The mom started sleeping with the widowed husband after her daughter died mysteriously. Then the husband dies of pneumonia or an iron deficiency.
Yeah.
Basically the same thing. And then people thought it could have been like mold or asbestos.
Toxic mold?
Do you remember when toxic mold was like a much bigger deal?
Ed McMahon. He was the first one. Remember he won like a big case? Ed McMahon was the first one who shed a light on toxic mold.
Yeah.
He won like $20 million. That's one of my first jokes ever. They delivered it to him in a big giant check. Remember, because he used to give... He got a 6-foot check delivered to his front door for $25 million.
I just remember toxic mold was a big thing. And then asbestos was a big thing.
Well, asbestos is real. That really does cause cancer.
Yes.
As a guy who grew, I think my first job in New York City was removing asbestos from places. So the fact that I'm not riddled with cancer right now is shocking.
Yeah, all the people that had to remove the asbestos.
Yeah, nobody cared
and then,
about that.
and the same with the mold removal. But I always wondered, what was the deal? Because then people first thought that he had something to do with her death. Then he died. Then the mom was left with the two of them.
It was a very strange story. It's a tragic story. She was, a cute girl who kind of had a nice career going. I remember she was heavy. Then she lost weight, right?
She was a little heavy
like
and
the heavy girl in
clueless.
Clueless, right?
She was like the dorky, not cute girl in Clueless.
Right.
Then she was like super sexy, slutty girl in the Eminem movie.
Yes, 8 Mile.
And then she was trying to be. Then she was in one of those bad dry bar movies that I call dry bar movies. That's where you go to the dry bar and they only play bad movies about girls. It's called Uptown Girl.
Oh, Uptown
They
Girls,
only play movies about New York City in the early 2000s.
What is dry bar?
It's where you go get your hair blown out, and they only play bad chick flick movies from the early 2000s, and they always are in New York City.
Yeah.
Girls are living in apartments that would cost $11,000 a month.
Yeah.
And but they're like a nanny.
Greatest one ever was a movie with Kevin Bacon. He was a bike messenger. I think it was called, Silver Flash or something. And I mean, he had literally a penthouse. He was a bike messenger. It was, the entire block penthouse rooftop that he would ride his bike around in. I think Jamie Gertz. Remember Jamie Gertz?
You know what is always in those movies? They always live in a loft.
There's a loft.
As if a loft is a less expensive thing because the elevator door opens right up to your room. You're like, well, that means it's a penthouse.
Yeah.
I don't care that it's a loft and you have exposed brick and exposed water pipe.
Speaking of that, I remember watching, because now they're remaking it with Zac Efron, 3 Men and a Baby. But I remember
they're remaking it?
Yes, with Zac Efron. That's the first cast member they announced. They're remaking Three Men and a Baby.
Oh my God! Can we predict what the storyline is?
Please.
Do we know? Have they haven't
I haven't
revealed
heard anything other than it's a remake of Three Men and a Baby, which Tom Selleck, Ted Danson, Steve Guttenberg.
And the original story was a woman drops off her baby.
Yeah. You don't know who it is. They
She
open the elevator.
slept with all of them.
Yeah, that's what
She
they
slept with
they
all
find
of them,
out.
and they don't know. But then the three men just watch the baby, and I
Mm-hmm.
guess comedy ensues because men don't know how to take care of babies.
That's a lot of that. A lot of like the peeing in their faces
Yes.
and the breast milk.
Yeah, and all that stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, so back then was pretty slutty, actually. Sort of
Yeah.
to use the word, but like you slept
And
with
then-
three guys, and then go on. So
They made a sequel where the woman is in it. I don't know who plays her. Called Three Men and a Little Lady, where she's now a little older.
the little girl
The
is.
little girl is, but the woman
Still,
is
the
now
mom is
involved.
like, what a shitty mom. What's
I
her
know.
fucking problem? Like, unless she's in rehab, there's no excuse. If it was like, oh, she's trying to be an ad exec, well, you can still see your kid at 7 at night, you
Yeah.
bitch. Like, what a weird movie.
There was a lot of in the '80s, a lot of babies being dropped off on front porch. Diane Keaton and Baby Boom. She
didn't know how to take care of a
Yeah.
baby because she was an executive.
She was on the move.
You can't expect to know how to take care of a baby if you're also in the
I
corporate
have
world.
deadlines to meet. This kid, and a lot of holding the kid out and running.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh my
poo-poo.
God, because you can't have both.
No, absolutely
didn't.
not.
In the end, she leaves because she can't. They are too mean to her. They won't let her watch the baby that she inherited from a cousin that she never liked or
Yeah.
something. And her boyfriend leaves her because he doesn't want to have a baby. And then she moves to the country because she's a rich 40-year-old woman, and she starts making her own applesauce. And then the
That's
company,
Baby Boom?
yeah. Then
I
the
like that movie.
The company comes back to her,
Oh.
and they say, "Oh my God, hi Diane Keaton, we want to talk to you about buying your applesauce company."
Yeah.
You know, and she goes to the meeting, and all the people that dismissed her once she wanted to be a mom give her this piece of paper of what they're going to buy the company for, and she goes, "Just give me a minute, please." And she goes to the bathroom. And she's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. And I always was waiting for that moment in my own career.
Where you just got a big check.
It's never happened. Where like someone
No.
offers me something and I have to act cool and I'm like,
Yeah.
no. So I just like love that moment. And then she realizes, no, I'm not going to sell it. Just like a Hallmark movie, she had met some simple guy that also knew how to pick
A
apples.
simp.
And he was really nice to her. And she's
Right.
like, I'm going to go back to the country and I'm just going to keep my small, I'm not going to corporatize.
But does she keep the kid?
She keeps the kids and the apple
Oh,
company.
Wow.
And the hot guy that works on the farm. But with the Three Men and a Baby, I'm going to guess what I'm going to predict what it is.
The new one. Okay.
Definitely there's a gay guy.
Well, gotta be.
100% a
Yeah.
gay guy.
Yeah.
That, but he did have one crazy night before he came out, but everybody's fine with him being gay. It's very positive. Bring your boyfriend over, all of that.
Yeah.
Um,
And now,
Who else?
are they gonna?
What?
Like you said, will they address the woman in this one? Like, well, the reason why she left the baby?
there's going to be absolutely no negativity towards her leaving the baby.
No.
It's going to be,
Maybe she dies.
I think she's going to have to die.
Yeah, have to die.
She's going to have to die. And then in the end, the test results come back.
Yeah.
And they go, we don't want to know.
Mm-hmm.
We are going to continue to raise this baby, and she's going to have
Can
three
I
dads.
now? Zac Efron has been cast. Can I get the two others?
Yes.
Yeah, please. If
Yes.
around that, you got to give me that level of actor.
Okay.
And knowing what we know now with
Yeah.
casting, it's gonna have to be.
Yeah.
several different types of people. So
Okay. So who is it?
I don't know. I'm asking you.
Oh, you're asking
Yeah,
Zac
I'm asking you
Efron.
to cast it. They haven't cast anyone else other.
Well,
as
since
far
he's
as I
kind of
know.
old, I think it's going to be a younger guy.
Okay. Younger than Zac Efron. I mean, Zac Efron's probably.
Oh, sorry.
28.
I was thinking of Zach Galifianakis.
No, Efron.
Okay, Zac Efron. Okay, then it is all going to be. So he's considered the older guy. I think it's going to be.
Actually, Zach Galifianakis would be pretty good casting. Yeah, Efron, Galifianakis, and who?
It's going to be a guy, a DJ. She had a crazy night in Ibiza with a DJ.
But who's playing that part?
Somebody multi-ethnical.
Okay.
Multi-ethnic. Like he's going to be like
Right.
international, have an accent,
Yeah.
something. And he might be just fluid.
Okay.
So we're going to be one straight, One kind of fluid.
And that means just anybody.
Go for anything.
Yeah.
And then one definitely gay.
Okay.
And yeah, and the gay guy is going to be the Asian guy from SNL.
Oh, really?
Yes.
The Asian guy who just got cast?
Yes.
That's a bold casting choice. Nobody knows who that is.
Well, you're
guy's
welcome.
selling-
I just cast you in a
What about the gay
major movie.
What about the gay Asian guy that we know, who's in Crazy Rich Asians? Him.
I feel like maybe, but I think that they might go for like a younger, less known choice.
Okay. I mean, all right. That's a good casting.
Okay, so we'll see what happens.
Can I tell you?
Yes.
Can I tell you another horrible remake that was
What?
just announced yesterday?
What?
Kevin Hart and Will Smith
In?
and a remake of Planes, Trains, and Automobiles announced yesterday.
With a Corona spin?
I don't.
Oh.
Who knows? They haven't made it. Yeah, I mean, yeah, but it's Planes.
I can't find my mask.
That's not a mask. And then he's got panties on his face.
So
I don't
clearly,
know. I don't think
clearly the annoying
it's Steve
Jim
Martin and
Candy is the Kevin Hart.
John Candy.
John Candy, who's like annoying and like
Right. I guess that seems
and
like
the
the
straight
more
guy is
Steve Martin is Will Smith.
got it.
That's what I'm gathering.
Do they have an entanglement with each other?
Oh, they couldn't do such a thing. Are you kidding? I mean, it's.
I think it would be fun. I think it would be fun if they like wake up and they don't really know what happened.
Well, that's what happens in Planes, Trains. You know, they wake up in the bed together. And,
But do they really fuck?
no, but
Oh.
they're hugging each other and it's all fun.
Yeah.
You know, there's several jokes in Planes, Trains, and Automobiles. You watch it now, like they're like.
You know what my
gay-
dad? You know what a story that was like completely an open story at our dinner table talked about all the time.
Which one?
My dad said like he was doing on a business trip
Right.
and just really hit it off with this guy, having drinks, just a great guy. Maybe
Yeah.
he was like in the military too before the corporate world. And the guy there was no rooms available or anything. And so my dad's like, you can stay in my room.
Yeah.
And the guy started exactly how my dad said it. And the guy started to rub his fanny. And he was like,
rub your dad's fanny?
yeah. And then my dad was like, whoa, I'm not gay, and like leave. And my mom it was like a story they told at cocktail parties. They just thought it was like the funniest, weirdest thing that my dad.
Yeah. But wait, that was it? The guy had.
No, my dad never had sex with him.
Yeah.
But isn't it weird that my dad would like share that story
Yes.
with us?
Yes, that's very strange.
It's just like he just was like, oh, silly me. I just thought he was like a friendly guy. I didn't think that he was gay, but clearly he was gay and misread my invitation to like spend the night as just like buddies.
Yeah. Rubbed his fanny. Wow, that is a strange story to share with the children.
Oh, we were just shared that story like anything.
Yeah. The McDonald's family is making more and more sense.
I know. It was really,
Yeah.
it was fucking weird. Okay. Here's another story from the past. Cher
A classic.
dating the Bagel Boy.
Rob, what was his name? I know his first name was Rob Camilletti.
And I want to say like,
Rob Camilletti.
oh my God, how do you
That was
remember
his
that?
name.
He was this gorgeous kid. He was only 21 and he sold bagels in New York.
Yeah.
And Cher, who was 40, that was her boyfriend.
I know.
This was like before Debbie Moore and Ashton. People lost their freaking minds that a 40-year-old woman was dating someone who was 21.
I also remember the story affecting me because I remember people being so shocked, not by the age, but by the fact that he had like a menial job, or at least that's what people consider.
Yes.
I was like, God forbid somebody makes a living. Like, oh, gross, you're dating a poor person? That was the takeaway most people
that
had.
was the head of the
Yeah.
New York Post of like, Bagel Boy.
Bagel Boy.
They only called him Bagel Boy. Cher and the
Every
Bagel
day.
Boy.
I think he went on to open like a chain of bagel places called Bagel Boy. I think he did in New York. It went under, of course, but
Can somebody find out where he is? So Cher, this is like 1989-ish. Cher is like like hit after hit. Like this is really her peak.
Yeah.
But still, people are like, can you believe she's still making hit records at 40? Like that was another big deal.
Right.
And I remember she had a commercial. She's like, and here my girlfriends and I are dancing in the rain. 3 40-year-old women dancing in the rain. Like that was such a big deal. Like to turn 40. It was just, oh, your life should have been over. What are you doing working out? What are you doing fucking still? Like you're 40. So the famous song of hers, "If I Could Turn Back Time," that
on a
is
boat,
about,
she was on like a battleship.
She went on a battleship. She had a G-string
Yeah.
onesie. She was the first to show off her ass, but it wasn't a big fat ass like the way they are now. That was
Right.
quite small and flat. But she had a tattoo on her ass, and you could see it through the netting nylon. And she said that was about him.
Oh, really?
That she regretted that the world got to her and she broke up with him, that he was like such a sweet boyfriend and lover. And then after that, she got the Epstein bar or whatever and slept for 10 years. Do you remember that?
No.
Look
I remember
that
she did a Sweet and Low commercial.
Cher has that Epstein, I'm probably saying it wrong, but you know that disease where you're like tired
Uh-huh.
and you just cannot get
I've
your
heard
energy.
about it. I didn't know
and
she
it's
had
like,
it.
I don't even know if you ever cured from it, but it's like, it's a big bummer.
Was
like,
this now
what?
Greg? There was Greg Allman. I think that was right after Sonny Bono.
She had a boy with
She had a
him.
boy with Greg Allman. Yeah,
Yes.
his name's Blue or something.
Yes.
And so this is after
Way
Sonny,
after.
Greg Allman.
And this is after Gene Simmons.
Gene Simmons, a long time they dated. her
Yeah.
and Gene Simmons. Yeah.
So this was like she was just the first one that was like, yeah, why is it that, got like, that's who she wanted. And, now Madonna does it. Now everybody does
Richie
it.
Sambora from Bon Jovi for a long time, too.
Oh, that's right.
talk about
That was
that.
before Heather Locklear.
That was before Heather Locklear, yeah.
Juicy stuff.
That is a juicy one. Yeah, that's a good one. He is a good-looking guy, and, honestly, the outfit still holds up.
You know what would be amazing if you saw him now, and I bet she looks younger than him.
Oh, he totally looks like an old Italian guy right now. He just, because the Italians, they hit the wall hard.
Because she's like 74, or is she 78?
Yeah.
Can you look how old Cher is? I want to say she's like, but with all the plastic surgery and just being fit and everything, she
The weird
still
thing
looks
was,
amazing.
She was the first one to really do plastic surgery to her. Everyone was like, she looks like a freak. But now you look at you look
74?
at her, and it's
Yeah.
like she doesn't look that freaky anymore because everybody's
No.
kind of doing it. So she doesn't look that crazy anymore.
I never thought she looked crazy. I think it was just like she was sexy and she always had a great body, but she had like the snaggle teeth, the
Right.
big nose, and then she like fixed the nose, fixed the teeth, and then was like the first to like enhance, like
By the
get
way,
cheekbones and
have
stuff.
you seen a picture of her mother who's still alive and looks unbelievable? She looks like she's 90-something years old, and she looks like she's 50.
I think that she has like crazy genes,
Yeah.
like Lisa Rinna and her mom have crazy genes. And then along with like being thin and fit, and then also having all the plastic surgery.
Right.
And then she did sleep for 10 years.
That's true, yeah, like Rumpelstiltskin.
Kelly Ripa, Kelly, this is a topic that comes from.
Is that one of the kids, or is that?
No, I mean, they're gorgeous. Like all the kids are
Yeah, good times.
good times. Chris, what is going on? Now everybody is loving your podcast, cover to cover.
Cover to cover. Thank you. Please listen to cover to cover. Get it. It's fun. It's a good time. It's the only thing that brings me like joy right now.
You bring joy to people, which is great.
Right.
And
No,
I do
people.
love,
As a matter of fact, a lot of Juicy Scoopers came to my shows this weekend, and I think I'm
Love-
going to say
love
this.
them. The
I'm going to say
Christian
they
service
did. There
they
were
do.
two
Yes.
women that I talked to at the show who were great, and they said that the night before they had sat out on their patio, covered patio in Minneapolis, and watched your special on their outdoor television, and said they
I think
loved
I
it.
saw that post.
Yeah, and then I've seen several people. I think it's a perfect special to watch in an outdoor TV with a couple of White Claws or whatever you kids are drinking.
Yes,
these days. Yeah,
I love it. So that's very nice. They went to go see you.
Yeah.
So check out his podcast, subscribe, listen.
Do it all.
Chris,
What else? That's it.
that's
right?
it. I love you.
I appreciate you having me back on. I'm sorry I'm not those two girls, but I'm going to
You're
say
not.
this. No.
Listen,
I
listen.
like those girls. Those
And-
girls are very funny, but I've been here delivering week after week,
No
time
one
after
is
time.
wanting to replace you.
I'm
They
not saying
like
I'm not
the
saying,
addition.
but I don't pit myself against them. I think they're great. I think Sarah Colonna is great.
They
I
love
think
Sarah.
Fortune's great.
On the last episode, they said we're beneath Chris
Yeah, they said
Well,
they know it, and they
yeah.
said we're beneath Chris Franjola. We're not trying to replace nothing.
No.
I reached out to them.
Listen.
And,
I see you going because I read your comments underneath your pictures on Instagram.
Yeah.
And there's people who comment me. I love Chris Franjola. You don't comment back. But those girls, you're like,
What?
oh my God,
No,
you're
I did not. That is not
They
true.
are
Someone
amazing.
wrote, "What
I
about
love
Chris
them."
Franjola?" And I wrote, "He's gonna be on Thursday."
Yes, and you the only one you answered. But everyone who goes to Brandy, you're like, yeah, aren't they the greatest? I love them. I can handle it. My skin is thick. Listen,
No, it's
I'm
not.
just happy.
It is so not.
I keep saying that, but it's really not.
So
No,
not.
I'm not. I understand my place in this world. I'm happy to be in a part of the world.
Hey, look, people ask about Fortune and Jen Kirkman, and
know.
they, look, we keep our social distance, but we do
Yeah.
do it in person, and they are not willing to do that. And so,
Right.
I'm sorry, I'm only going to do Zoom with people that don't live in California at this point.
I totally agree. But also, I'll say this: I'm a male, which is very difficult to stay in this world. Though that most of them are the favorites are women.
Okay.
And I keep up with the shit that you guys talk about. I try to.
Right.
But I'll say this.
What?
Those girls got juicy scoop history, which I could go for days.
Chris,
on juicy scoop history.
stop it. Listen to me.
I get
Kelly already has.
Can you believe Tom Hanks ate a baby with Oprah? And then I have to discuss that shit. But I didn't get
Listen,
fucking
I
juicy scoop
don't.
history.
First of all, I don't believe that Tom Hanks ate a baby with Oprah. Okay. I heard he's a leg man, but whatever. No, just kidding. But Kelly is collecting a lot of other topics. A lot of other people are asking, can you guys cover this, and this?
History.
So we are, next time you come, like in 2 weeks,
Okay.
we'll do a Juicy Scoop history with
Please,
you.
'cause-
I did some of it.
Yeah,
I
know,
had some
I know.
topics left that I'd already thought of that we didn't get to.
They were great.
So I was like, I know Chris will talk about this.
Yeah.
So I
Okay.
loved it.
Thank you. I always appreciate being on. It's the only reason I have a career anymore is because of this podcast. I'm sorry we didn't get that NBC show. That's 7
No, but
people.
we're going to share our audition
Oh, we
on,
should
on
definitely
on
do that. That'd be
Instagram. So
great.
follow us on Instagram,
Yeah.
both of us, at Chris Franjola, at Heather McDonald. Bye.
Bye.